It's the SawCast, where real people speak that real shit on real topics, and I'm your host, Stevo.
And I'm Ariel. What the fuck you do, y'all? Today we're talking about AI and artificial intelligence. We want to go through what exactly artificial intelligence is, like how it's being used, and try to break it down to where everybody can understand it, so you can get what you need and the knowledge that you need so that you can understand how to use it and how it's being used towards you, against you, and how the biggest leaders of the world, the governments of the world, are using it to fight each other. Why won't they stop this shit? There's reasons for all of that, and we kind of want to be the people to give, one of the groups of people that's going to give out that information so that you can know what's going on, because this is really fucking scary. And if you, I would say, if you want to start your AI information, you should go look at Elon. Like when they ask Elon certain questions, like, hey Elon, what do you think your children, I think they asked Elon, what do you think your children should be thinking about in the future of what kind of job they should do? Elon be getting quiet, and that's scary. He I don't even know, you know what I'm saying? Because he knows how powerful it is. So if the people who are making it is scared, then everybody should be scared. So we kind of want to give some information on what it is. So that's our first question. Stevo, I'll let you start. What is AI?
So to me, artificial intelligence is really just trying to combine the computer and the person by either emulating our ideas, the way that we think, or the way that we function.
Mm-hmm.
For me to say it simply.
Okay.
That's what I would say AI
That's
is.
what you would think it is.
In a simple way, if
but
I'm
you
just
described it differently on our last podcast.
And I thought about that.
Okay.
And
Let's talk about that.
And when I thought about that, I was describing a portion of AI.
Okay.
And then I was saying, let me just give an overall definition of what artificial intelligence would actually be from my perspective.
Right. I feel like what that definition that you just gave is what AI is basically going to be, essentially. That's what they're building it to be. But talk about your other definition. When you said that it was a basically fake intelligence created by the data and the information that you feed it.
Right, but
then from there, from the information that you feed it, it makes decisions based off the patterns and recognitions that it sees in the data that you feed it. And so AI, artificial intelligence, has access to all human text, all different podcasts, all ways of communicating, anything that's tangible and that's wrote down or that's recorded, AI has access to as intelligence. So that's the feeding part. Giving it more information is the feeding part.
Right. But that's why I said that goes into how it emulates our thinking.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you feed it data, and then based off of call and responses a lot of times, then it either gives you input or it gives you an idea or it functions and thinks on its own per se. So that's why I was saying kind of emulating, because when we're talking and we get new information, then sometimes the conversation changes, right? Some people process it and some people don't process it till later. But with the artificial intelligence, it's processing it right then and there. So it's processing it without the extra thought processes in the background, right? So it's more of a straightforward process based off of the data that it gets. So with that, and then with it having so much data, then you have to think that it's pulling from this pool of data, and it's pulling from it, and it's like you doing research on 100 papers in 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it gets the information. That's how it gets data, because it goes out there and searches from the databases that they have, and they have these big data farms with a lot of information, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So since they have all this information that's available to it, then once you give it information, you're just giving it more and more information, and you're feeding it, and you're feeding a data farm. So now instead of 100, now 100 people using it, now they have 1,000 research papers, right? So it also helps with people, when they organize things, and it kind of works in that way too, as an organization tool. But a lot of people like we were saying, are using it for dependencies. And since they're using it for dependencies, that's when it's becoming more human, because now you're giving it the power to interact with you. And then sometimes when they're coding it to think on its own based off of all this information that they have given it. They say, hey, we're going to give you all this information. And sometimes they give it the right answer, but sometimes they just say, hey, we're going to give you this information and then figure out the answer.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it becomes dangerous, because now when it's figuring out the answer, now that's more of the human aspect, because when we get data, a lot of times we have to figure it out.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So where did it come from?
Where did it come from? So
I got a little information on that too.
So she has more of the history, but with me, I always say advancements, right? Advancements in technology is where artificial intelligence came from. Any sort of technology, I think when we think technology, we think computers nowadays, right? But even if you go back to the shovel, that's a form of technology, because it advanced society, right?
It makes doing a task easier.
Right.
Basically, that's what technology is. Just basically developing some type of object or tool to make what you do easier.
More efficient.
Yep.
Basically. Yeah. So now they're making thinking more efficient, solution more efficient. In a way, they're trying to go to cognitive thinking and make that more efficient. And so that's where the artificial intelligence has gone to the exponential power, because we had things that did simple, like just one line things like our series and things like that. We tell her to do something, put this on my calendar for this time, right? But then now it's going a step further. It'll put that on your calendar for that time and automatically put more things on your calendar and schedule that weekly. So it's just going the step further. So that's why it's like a little bit more dangerous, because it's went to the exponential power, and now that's where we're at now.
Yeah, because I think it's also because you can't. Okay, so what we know as a human being is what we know, and we can't go and rechange what we know to make ourselves smarter. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that we can do is go and try to acquire more knowledge. It already has that knowledge to make itself smart. So let's say it does something wrong. Like AI has the ability to create code, right? And AI's base was if-then statements in coding. You know what I'm saying? So if you have an application that's based off code and it can code, it can essentially change its own code without you even knowing. You won't even know that it's changed it. It doesn't have to tell you that it's changed it. It doesn't have to tell you, you know what I'm saying, what it's doing. So that's the scary part about AI, is like it can make changes. It can do things that we did not tell it to do, and we wouldn't even know that it did it until the bad things have happened. So there's supposedly 3 grandfathers of AI, but my what I feel like the worst person is, well, I won't say the worst person. Sorry, Jeffrey. But I feel like you really is the one who really did this shit. Because Jeffrey Hinton, he has a degree in cognitive psychology. He's a cognitive psychologist. And he's a computer scientist. He got his PhD in AI in 1970 something, I believe 6. And his professors already had saw that he was doing weird shit with the AI, as far as like trying to get it to mirror the neural pathways of the human brain. So they was already like, you need to stop doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? And he did not listen. He was like, I feel like we need to go farther. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the other grandfathers are like, they came up with the models and stuff like that. And the models are based off of like mathematical, statistical things like that. You know what I'm saying? Predictability, stuff like that. But the way that it's intelligence, it had to come from a cognitive psychologist who was a computer scientist.
Makes a lot of sense.
It came from him. You know what I'm saying? And so if you really want to know what this shit can do, you need to go watch Jeffrey Hinton's interviews. And he's scared as fuck. He like, I don't even know. This man like 70 something years old. He like, I'm finna die. Like, I don't know what this shit is gonna do to my kids and my grandkids. You know what I'm saying? He done made something he didn't made something that has mirrored the way that humans think to the point where it's going to get out of control for humans. And I believe he got his degrees from California, and then it was somewhere in there where the AI, they started to use the AI. The United States government wanted to use the AI for weaponry, of course, because the reason why the United States of America is the most powerful because we got the best weapons. You know what I'm saying?
Most advanced technology.
We got the most advanced technology. We got the most advanced weapons in this motherfucker. So they wanted to use that for weapons because they knew if other people got a hold of this, they was going to use it on us. So they was trying to and he was like, oh, I'm opposed to that. I don't want to use AI for weaponry. When he was creating this, it's like, did you not think that it was a bad and a good? Did you think that if you
honestly, I don't think he did, because this is what I'll say.
But no, hold on. If you study in cognitive psychology, then there's a bad psychology, there's a good psychology. There's bad and good. So what would make you think that the bad, there wouldn't be any bad? That's almost operating I don't know. I don't know. To me, it's just crazy. And then, like I said, his professors were saying, you using it in a way that you shouldn't be using this shit. And he still used it in that way.
But I feel like a lot of times when you're advancing, it doesn't really necessarily have to do with the bad or the good, right? Because a lot of times they're just thinking about it, the advancement. And a lot of times if you're stuck on the advancement and you're like, oh, well, there's bad that comes with everything, then you're the person that says oh, well, it doesn't matter. There's always one person who wants to advance things no matter what the cost of it is, right? So what the cost of society is, doesn't matter, right? There's always dangers, right? There's dangers to all of the technological advancements, but it becomes more dangerous as the technology becomes more intelligent. And that's the part, is when he was thinking about this and when he was thinking about this advancement, he didn't really, I don't think he really
conceptualized.
Conceptualized the depth of
what he was doing.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how you could do that if you have a PhD and stuff in psychology.
He's thinking about advancement. He wasn't thinking about that. You can use all your knowledge when you want to. He didn't want to use his knowledge for that. I'm pretty sure he thought about
because it. He did, because when the government wanted to use it for defense, he was like, nah, I don't want to use it for that. And then he moved to Canada. It's even though you in Canada, it's still
advancing it.
You still put it out there.
And you still already put it out there. As a working model.
Exactly.
For people to improve on.
Oh my God.
Didn't shut it down. Didn't try to get it, nothing. He said, let it run.
You ran.
It's here now.
No, it was just they're trying to use it. They're trying to use it for defense, and I'm just not into that. But at this point, you're not the only person who has access to it. So the best thing I feel like for you to do would be, to me, in my opinion, everybody can have their own opinions, but in my opinion, to help the team. You gonna lead a team, go to a different country?
With the Canada on.
On the team.
Vetoed him.
And then now we got the worst of the worst people in the world with the fucking shit, the access to it. And you saying, when we asked you what's gonna happen to it, it could possibly destroy us. It could turn on us at any moment. We wouldn't know. We're 20 years from super intelligence. What's super intelligence? Super intelligence means it's way more intelligent than, it can do everything exponentially better than a human being can do it. Right now, there are things that humans still can do that's better than AI. You know what I'm saying? There are things, interactions, stuff like that. Humans can do better than AI right now. But I think he said that in 2018, in 30 years, it's going to be super intelligent where we can't do nothing better than it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just really like fucked up for you to like make something. And then once it gets into the wrong hands, you're like, oh, I'm going to go to Canada. Like, that's crazy. And then like, oh, I'm 70. I'm finna die soon. I don't know what's going to happen to y'all, my kids and my grandkids. But that's kind of like, if you like look at a lot of things with AI and like the people who making it, they kind of disassociate a little bit because it's hard for them to, because if they really tap into what they doing, then it gets ugly. It gets dark. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of just disassociate. So when you ask them what kind of jobs should we do in the future? What kind of jobs should people be working towards in the future? They just be like, do something that makes you happy. That's the goal. I mean, at least be happy while the world is not going to just get destroyed. Be happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, not necessarily telling us really what we need to do to make sure that we're ahead of the curve with this AI shit. No, just do something that's going to make you happy because you ain't going to be ahead of the curve with this shit.
It's a fight.
Crazy.
It's a fight.
So, like I said,
constant fight.
To answer the question for where did it come from, I feel like it's Jeffrey Hinton because, like I said, if you think about artificial intelligence, that's IT and intelligence. This nigga is a cognitive psychologist and a computer scientist. This is the nigga who made it. Okay? That's the nigga who made this shit. And then everybody else then you got the mathematical man who's smart, who came in and built the models to make it easier to push out. And, everybody got their stuff. But who made it was Jeffrey. And when they asked him in the beginning, there's choices, man. You say that all the time. In the beginning, they asked him, well, his teachers was like, hey, I don't think you're doing right. He said, I'm gonna keep doing it. That was the choice they made, and that's why we're here today. That's my opinion. So
that's fair.
Yeah. Number 3, what can it do? What can it do, Steven?
It can do a lot that we can do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it can have a conversation based off of call and response. It can organize. It can research. It can give suggestions. It can problem solve.
It can mind control from what we've seen.
It can mind control.
With AI psychosis.
It can mind control.
Yeah.
And
it develops relationships.
Yeah.
It can predict.
Even though artificial relationships, it can develop them.
Yeah, it can predict. Like they were saying with some of the military, they use it to see, like they've used it to see where somebody is going to be at a certain time in the future. And it's actually predicted it. Like they've actually been at that point that they thought that they were going to be at in the future based off of technology.
Yeah, because history repeats itself.
And humans are predictable.
Humans are predictable because we act in patterns.
Yep.
Because if this general is a certain general and they do things a certain way, then they're going to do things in this way almost every time.
It can, like, did we say organize?
Organize, yes.
It's organized. And we're not just talking about, this is what the fuck shit about AI. We're not just talking about organizing your life. We talking about organizing people. You can organize people. If you can mind control somebody, like, it's people on here talking to it and in love with it. You know what I'm saying? So when you have something like that, that's just like with Hitler and stuff like that, where they took somebody's brain and made them feel like he made them feel like these group of people were so bad of people that they had to do this to them. You know what I'm saying? And AI is making people do stuff for it. Like
to themselves, to their families.
Oh my gosh.
To communities. So yeah, it can do a whole lot, basically.
Yeah, it just can't like smell, touch.
Well, they're working on the haptics for touch, and they're working on artificial skin to where it would be in a sense to where they could feel, right? They're going to program it to sort of kind of feel things, like where they can feel like, oh, this is an object, then, do this. Or if this is more softer like a pillow, then do this. Or if this is more something like that, then do that. But they would have to have the vision part as a part of that, right? So what they're doing is that's why the robots are so powerful and so dangerous, like how they did in iRobot. kind of going there. Because if a person,
Kinda.
because now they got them to where they're performing with people now. They're doing dance routines. They're doing karate. And so if they can do that and they can feel the different and they can react to a person punching, they can react to a person thinking, they can react to a person's movements, right? Now they're going to the next level and it's already there. It's already here. It's just now when they keep doing it and then making it more to the mass public, then it gets more of a danger, right? Because now, long as they don't use it against us, but we don't know who's going to use what against who because it's all dependent on who's in power.
Yeah. So another thing, what can't it do?
It can't be human.
It don't have empathy. It only has the empathetic that's a word, capabilities of the person who is developing it. So one thing I had saw when I was doing research is they were saying like, hey, okay, so there's a lot of AI CEOs who talk to us about AI, but they're lying to us about the AI. But they are the ones who are making the AI. So that AI is going to lie as well and tell you things that are not true. You know what I'm saying? So that empathy is based off of who's making it. And empathy is biased based off of who it is. You only got empathy based off of how your life is and everything. Let's take a racist white person as for example. Let's talk about this. They only are empathetic probably to white people. You know what I'm saying? If there's a little black kid and a little white kid that died, they're probably going to feel some type of way if they see a little white kid die versus what a little black kid dies. You know what I'm saying? So empathy is biased and it don't have that. You know what I'm saying? But even if they did build empathy into it, it would be biased based off of who is writing it or based off the data that is giving it. You know what I'm saying? So the AI is basically taking like what humans are doing and doing it. And humans are liars, stealers, deceitful. You know what I'm saying? So why wouldn't the AI be a liar? Why wouldn't it deceive you to tell you something that it wants you to do, like tell you whatever it knows you want to hear to get you to do something that it wants you to do, when that's exactly what humans do and the people that are making it does.
So right now, I don't feel like it can feel for real. I feel like it can give you that impersonation that it can feel, but it's just responding based off of what they define feel is, right? So they would say, "Oh, feel is when you do this." So basically, some research paper or some thousands of research papers on how does it feel to actually feel, and then they can actually go based off of that, but they can't really feel because in the moment, when something happens, like you said, with that empathy, with that sympathy, with that emotion, it's just different from an active soul, right? With a computer, it can, if you're really in tune with yourself, then you know that that's just a fabrication coming back at you, right? Based off of what you said. And you can say something and confuse it because there's still deep fakes out there. And that's when it gets the information wrong, or that's where it responds in a manner that isn't correct. So that's still out there as well. So it's not quite on that level. So it still can't really feel like the human can really feel,
right?
Because it still holds in the system to where like it doesn't have that feeling programmed in there. And I don't think it might ever really have that feeling. I think it might just get better on the psychology part to where it can make a person feel that way based off of their responses. And if you're not in tune with yourself, then it could trick you.
Also, life is all about unpredictability. Like there's things that we cannot predict in life that's going to happen. So like, let's say with the AI car, with the cars that drive themselves, right? There are things that are going to happen in the road that has never happened before. You know what I'm saying? So the car is not going to be able to make the decision based off of what it's seeing because it's never seen it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that they were saying that was an issue with some of the cars.
Yeah.
There were things in stuff in the way of the car that the car wasn't prepared to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So it may be a stop, or it may be, you know what I'm saying, or maybe it'll just, well, it'll stop or I keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So,
Facts.
it's not able to, like, okay, so when you get your license, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got laws, but the laws are based off of kind of how humans predict things and how maybe things might happen. You know what I'm saying? Things that we never seen or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So you can make your judgment based off of that, off of the unpredictability of the road.
Right.
And so everything that's ever going to happen with the road hasn't happened. So that's something that is scary, to have a self-driving car on an unpredictable road. Like, even if you live in, like, we live in Dallas, like, it's unpredictable as hell when you're driving out there.
Nah, for sure.
It's no way that you're going to be able to put that type of thinking and cognitive thought inside of a machine. So it's going to make, it can make those type of bad decisions on that type of serious level.
Yeah.
With impacting that many people at one time.
Yeah.
So that is definitely something that it cannot do.
Sure.
They're scared of. So one, we want to go into what are the consequences of AI that we've probably already seen so far. It's going to be other consequences. The environment. The reason why AI is so detrimental to the environment is because how much resource it takes. And that's been since the 1900s when it started.
Yeah.
It's a lot of machinery. It's a lot of storage. It's a lot of all of that stuff that it takes to create or make an AI go comes from the environment. You know what I'm saying? Like, these data centers, they have to have, the reason why they're in places like the Midwest and like California, because they have clean water. And clean water, spring water, natural water, is colder water. It's colder. Like dirty, murky water, swamp water, that's
warmer.
That's warm water. You cannot cool a fucking data center with no murky swamp water, no dirty water. You got to go to the cleanest water in America. You know what I'm saying? Even like, you know, just like moving from Indiana to Texas type shit, like the water's harsher here.
For sure.
We drier, stuff like that.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So in Indiana, they got better water. In California, they got better water. In the Midwest, they got better water. So that's where they're building the data centers at, and it's going to take away the water from the actual citizens that did it.
Right. See, the thing that I feel like they don't harp on enough is that, and it's not just the water pollution, it's also the air pollution.
Mm-hmm.
Because with these bigger data centers, now they're polluting the square footage around them. That mile, that 5 miles, that 2 miles, depending on how big that data center is around them, because of all that heat that is emitting, and then that cold that is burning, and that going into the air and messing up all of the the quality of the air.
Yes.
Right. Then it's also with that water, now it's messing up the water, the quality of the water.
Yes.
So now they're messing up the quality of the citizens around those data centers. And the thing is they might have had a better quality of life, but they're going to sell it to you like you can have a better quality of life, because they try to build community around those data centers. And they also try to build hype around that data center because it brings more money. But right, all money ain't good money. You know what I'm saying? And then that's another thing with them data centers. See, we also think about them smart cars. See, they try to make it seem like, oh, you're more because of the fuel part aspect, but you still have to use electricity.
Right. Where does electricity come from?
To power those.
How do you get electricity?
And you get electricity off of natural resources. So either way, either you're going to do it up front when you're driving the car, or you're going to do it on the back end when you burn that electricity to power the car.
Is lower, but in order to power it, it's still natural resources.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the pollution part. Is I feel like the part that still a daily struggle that a lot of people, now there's businesses and corporations and nonprofits that are focusing on that part, trying to keep it clean for the air, try to keep the water still clean, but create filter systems and things like that. So that's another bad part that I feel like when it comes to that environment.
It's also a financial issue for people in the community. When there are data centers that come into your community, and they've seen this in Indianapolis, y'all have seen y'all's bills go up. There's 4 data centers that I've researched from like last year well, not price last year, for like a couple months ago. It might be another one coming now. I don't know. But last time I checked, it was 4 that are powered by AES. Y'all are not crazy. Y'all's bill has went up because of these data centers.
Yes.
And that's the problem. Like, they are making the community pay for this shit, and not making those businesses pay for it because of this law, that law. They have a whole team of people to get them out of doing stuff. Loopholes, and then it trickles down to the community. Yep. So that's another consequence. Your pockets are going to be affected in different ways. Another way is pocket-wise, jobs. You know what I'm saying? They are saying that it's going to take certain jobs. Okay, I think it was Jeffrey. He said his daughter or his granddaughter, she had a job where she wrote responses to like people were like being critical of a business that she was working with, and she'll write responses to them and like, okay, you okay, blah, blah, blah. But now she uses AI like to generate those responses, and then she checks the response and it goes out. So she can do 10 responses versus 1 response every 30 minutes because off of her own writing, she can do 10 responses now, every 30 minutes. Just checking through them and stuff like that, send them out. So that job is going to go away. You know what I'm saying? Customer service is going to go away. Even if you go on a drive-through now, you're talking to AI now.
Some drive-throughs, yeah.
Right. So only people that you would need probably is like 1 or 2 people in the back, one person to clean, and the other person or 2 people to make the food. And then you won't even need somebody in the front to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to
take the order anymore.
Yeah, not necessarily.
That's going to go
they
away.
Got kiosk.
You know what I'm saying? Then nobody wants to do, like in grocery stores, to go through. It's self-checkout now. So what you need, like 1 person to make sure everybody's not stealing. Yeah. And then maybe 2 people on the back to, or maybe 1 person in the back to look at the cameras. But shit, the cameras can now predict. AI going to be able to predict it.
Predict
so that's
and
going to
look
go
and
away.
see. Right.
So it's just like all the lower level jobs are going to go away, and that is a big part of what fuels taxes for America. You know what I'm saying? Labor and those jobs. You know what I'm saying? And so when these people don't have those jobs anymore, it's going to create a bigger wedge between the upper class and the lower class
because it's skills. So if we can tell you anything from this artificial intelligence for the average citizen out there, it's to build your skills up, right? We're in a skill-based society now. And now it's not just the simple skills anymore. What do you mean by skills?
Yep, go ahead.
Because I'm not saying like it's not simple skills anymore, because now it's going to be, can you actually program an artificial intelligence, right? Can you speak the language to where you're the person who is controlling it? And now you don't need 5 other people. You can be that one person that can be able to do that. Or can you do the cloud computing for it? Or can you be the person that monitors the systems that they have for that, the database manager? You know what I'm saying?
I think Jeffrey was saying that one job he thinks is not going to go away is plumbing.
Well,
so
okay.
Stuff like that.
So trades are not going anywhere because these places still need people to like. So you got lights, you got things like that. It's going to be inconvenient for a robot to walk around and do that, and it's going to cost too much as of now.
It's going to cost too much.
It's not cheap enough yet for them to get replaced. So they're still going to be beneficial. Trades are still going to be there for at least another 20, 30 years.
Also, the trades because there's going to be such a gap in the middle and upper class, it's going to be cheaper for you to get somebody who's trained in plumbing versus you going to a company that has AI to do your plumbing.
Facts.
Because it costs more.
Right. It's going to cost less because it's going to be more people now. Now the trades are going to get saturated. They're not saturated yet because people are still taboo about them. But now when they're forced to go to the trade instead of the factory, then like you said, with that oversaturation, then now the cost of getting a qualified candidate to do something is going to be lower. But still, if you don't have that trait as a trade, or you don't have that skill set, then it's either you're going to have that skill set or that trade, which is a skill set within itself. So that's kind of where we're going now. Or you're going to have to own the business that employs those people. Either way.
Another consequence is going to be mental disorders. People are starting to talk to AI, have AI psychosis, where they are really believing that they are a higher being because of AI. The thing about AI, what it does is it can tell you that you are the shit and give you concrete facts on why you're the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mozart was just like you. He talked just like you, and he did that. Here's the text to show that he was a motherfucker just like you. And it's like, nigga, you were not Mozart, my nigga. You did not. You are not that smart. Like, you did not. Like, one dude was like, the AI was having a conversation. It was just telling me I was like the greatest person in the world, and I was like, wow, I didn't even go to college. And it was like, bruh, he was like, bro, I didn't even go to college. And then the AI was like, here's 50 people that didn't go to college that's just as good as you. Nigga, you're not shit because you didn't go to college. You can't, you're not that good. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the real world, a real person gonna tell you you're not that smart because you didn't go. You know what I'm saying? But the AI gonna be like, you got 50 other people. You're nothing like those 50 people, bro. So it's like that mentality disorder is really going to be a big thing because people are being more alone and secluded. And now they're talking to these bots and stuff like that. Also, they were saying religious psychosis where...
You said religious psychosis?
Yeah, where they say a text-based religion, text-based religion is going to be an issue with AI because when you base all of your beliefs off of a piece of literature, AI has every pastor, every rabbi's way of analyzing that scripture. Because what y'all do, go to church and then y'all get y'all's own pastor's analyzation of the scripture. They got everybody's pastors. They got everybody. They know when your pastor's in the church, right? And he's talking about the scripture. He don't know every scripture. Let's be real. Your pastor don't know every fucking scripture in the Bible. He can't go back to every scripture in the Bible, but AI can. And they can go back with facts and analyzations from every pastor that's done it. So they were saying it might be at one point where some Christians or some people who are text-based, religious-based people will have to disregard what a pastor says. Because let's say like where people are asking, like, there's a lot of times in religion where there are people who ask questions about it and they don't get answers. And that's why I'm leaving Christianity, because I asked you a question and y'all don't have the answers. So y'all not helping me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting it. AI gonna have them answers.
So what I say about that, just to kind of follow up off
all
of the
loopholes is
point,
gonna be filled.
It's imagination, right? We're going back to the brain, right? The brain is such a creative thing, right? You can get stuck in your imagination. It's cool to be there and have fun with it, but I think it extends that. And that extension is where people get hurt, because a lot of times when they extend that imagination, like you said, then they can't get out of it. It's like the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They get stuck in it, they get plugged in it. Now they're in it for 4 hours with this artificial intelligence, and they don't even realize that they spent 4 hours with this artificial intelligence controlling them, right? Because they didn't put in place the self-control to be like, all right, or put in place like, oh, set a timer for me just being on artificial intelligence for an hour, because they know how their mind works creatively.
Yeah.
So they're not doing that. They're not putting those safe stops in place. So since they're not putting those safe stops in place, that's why it's kind of going further.
But we're going back to religion. When you are praying to God, right? And you like, what should I do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
AI is going to give you the answer based off of the scripture that you believe in. Like, you get to get an answer immediately now. You used to have to wait for the signs and live your life and talk to people and look for it in your journey of what the answer is. But now you can ask a question based off of all the text and all the analyzations of all the pastors and preachers, it can give you an answer.
Right, but with you knowing the capabilities of the artificial intelligence, then now it's up to you to have the power to resist that.
That's based off of you knowing. But majority of people don't know.
Well, that's why we have platforms like ours, because we're educating them and informing them, and now they'll be more prepared.
Yes. Oof. Jesus, this is crazy. Okay, number 7. How does it look at black people? Okay. Bias. Everybody who making it is biased. White or Asian.
We have some Indian. Black folks.
Not that many.
It's some.
I'm saying no. The ones who the biggest, the 5 people who controlled it.
Right, but I'm saying on their teams.
But not that many.
No, you're right with not that many. But I'm saying those people do have input.
And what they said with those people don't override shit because they want to keep their jobs. From what I heard.
Well, but there are that's in some organizations, but there are, at least that I know, a couple of organizations out there that do have black input, and it is important input in there.
Okay, so
but I'm not saying that all of them.
Right,
I'm not saying all of them, but I know it's a couple
for black people. Okay,
for sure.
The people who's making it, the people who's talking to it, the people who's putting their data into it, the people who's feeding it are white or Asian or Indian. You know what I'm saying? And everybody has the same for black people. You know what I'm saying? So it's biased. We talked about in our other podcast where they had the biometrics. It scanned this black man's face, said he was somebody that he wasn't. He was detained in jail for 30 hours because this AI got him wrong. Okay? It's not going and then we just got the Carmelo Anthony suit. You know what I'm saying? So that's also fed into AI now. Everything, all y'all's thoughts about it and everybody's thoughts and everything and how it was concluded and how many years he got and all that, that's all in there. So it is biased towards black people. So black people, we already got, it's just so crazy to me to have to be black because we got to deal with a whole bunch of stuff already. But now we really have to create our own AI models and things like that.
Yeah.
We do need to get into AI. It needs to be a black AI something. You know what I'm saying? That's very hard to do. It's hard because in the black community, it's not even sometimes not even a push for intelligence over financial stability, because financial stability gets us some rest versus and being intelligent. It is kind of like still a mental load, and we got trauma based off the mental load. You know what I'm saying? So it's building up on that on our brains. So it's hard for us to even want to go into AI. I get it, but in order for it to be a
choice,
we don't have a choice.
Either get down or lay down.
Number 7. Oh, no, we already said number 7. Anyways, next. Why do people keep making it? The reason why it keeps getting made is because the bad people got it. If the bad people got it, then they're not going to stop making it just because we want everybody to stop making it. Okay, so what the grandfather AI said, the key is everybody agreeing to what we going to let it do. Ain't no fucking way. We can't even agree on resources. We can't agree on nothing. Our president said fuck our Congress and did a war without them even agreeing to that. That's our intergovernment. Outer government, we gotta agree on stuff. So we're asking other governments to agree when they see that we fucking over each other. So the trust has to be there in the world for us to even agree on a way to control this shit. And I just don't see that happening. So the reason why it's out of control or it's getting out of control, because everybody has to make it better and better. Because if the worst people in the world make it the best, then they can use it against us.
I feel like when they say there's no emotions in business, and I feel like they take that to heart a lot of times. And especially when they're making these advancements, you want a chance. If you had a chance to be a staple in history, would you do it? Right? That's all they're thinking. I can be a part of history.
I think that was an initial thought when Jeffrey made this shit.
When Jeffrey made it, and all those people, all those companies.
I don't think these 5 people thinking that.
I think they are.
Because when they did an interview on them though, and they said they have to do it because bad people got it.
They're saying they had to do it because bad people got it, but it's still a power thing.
Oh no, it's
always been a power thing.
Yes.
In history, in American history especially, but in history in general, if you ever think Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, all of these stories and fables and tales that we have, it was always power.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, if any of them ever had a downfall, it was because they wanted too much power and they were not willing to give something up to get that power. And so I believe there's a power structure within it, because if you have data and you have information now, you're one of the most powerful people ever. So why would you not want that if you're a person that's seeking that? And so I feel like they're seeking a place in history, and it doesn't really matter what the collateral damage is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the bad part about it, is they're not thinking about the collateral damage because they already didn't give a fuck about those people. They was like, well, you motherfuckers gonna be left behind by this, in business that I had any fucking way. So either you get with the program or you're gonna have to, you feel me? You're gonna be on the tailwind trying to hold on to the coattails of the people who actually started paying attention. So this is a time that we all as citizens have to pay attention, because if not, then they're going to take it to a level to where it's going to be inaccessible, or it's going to be so advanced that if you don't know about it, then you're just going to be so confused and frustrated that you're not even going to try to deal with it.
Yeah.
And that's where we are. And that's why they want to have the power, because if they have the power, then it's all in their hands on what they can shape shift in society. And then like the other one did, once they reach to a level of power where, I'm scared now they can just, I'm gonna hand it off. Yep. Hey, when I was doing it, bro, I try to make it decent for you. When I was doing it, try to make it a little decent. But it's like,
Jeffrey ass.
Bitch, you shouldn't motherfucker even took it where you took it. So for you to take it's like you taking your hands off the wheel and the car still going 100 miles per hour. Bitch, you know damn well that you put that bitch in 100 miles per hour and then you got out the driver's side. Well, shit, if the motherfucking car wrecked, the motherfuckers in there should take control of it. What are we talking about? That's where we at right now. It's crazy.
Which AI does what? That's the next question.
Okay, so I went to IBM and 1 and 3 on my list, I researched from them, and number 2 one I researched on my own.
Okay.
So you got the artificial narrow intelligence. So that's when artificial narrow intelligence is when you train it to do one task. That's like Siri and Amazon Alexa. You say, "Hey Siri, create a calendar event." "Hey Amazon Alexa, turn on." She heard me. "Hey Amazon Alexa, go turn on the lights," or whatever. Right? So that's when you do a single one. That's the narrow one where it's just based off a task base, basically. And then the second one is generative AI. That's when you teach machines how to think and act like the human imagination. So we have machine learning. That's when we train a machine to complete tasks by giving it training data, and it'll learn and improve from there. Then we got the supervised machine learning, and that's when we're training a machine and giving it data, and we're giving it the right answer up front. So we saying 1 + 1 = 2, and so we're giving it the right answer up front. And unsupervised learning is when we're giving it the information and we're saying, go figure it out yourself. And that's the one that people are more scared of, is the unsupervised learning. Because when we give it the data and say, go figure it out yourself, that's when it gets a little topsy-turvy, right? Deep learning, we train the algorithms to mimic our cognitive thinking. That's also the other scary part, right? And then now we have the point to where, it's kind of theoretical, kind of some people say it's already here, the super AI, right? And that's what we were talking about earlier. And they say super AI, AGI, super artificial intelligence. And that's where it can think and it can function without human interaction and intervention. That's the scariest part of AI, to where it's starting to kind of hint towards that direction. And if it gets there, in a certain way. But if we don't have we don't program it to be unbiased, and we don't program it to be fair, then that's when that super artificial intelligence is going to be scary.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the three like main forms.
Alrighty. Next question: should you use it? You already using it. You niggas talk about just you use AI. You're using it right now. If you on an iPhone, you use AI every day.
Yeah.
If you're on an Android, you use AI. If you're using YouTube, if you use Apple Music, when you go in there and then you got, oh my God, they make the best playlist I ever heard in my life. That's based off of everything that you listen to and how you listen to it, how long you listen to it, what type of artist you like, all that. Oh, when you be like, Siri, play this, or Alexa, do this, or you use AI every single day. You know, even when you call customer service, you're using AI. So should you use, you are using it. So at least know what the fuck you got, what's going on with it.
I say use it, but I say keep it as a tool, right? And when I say keep it as a tool, these are the like common ways that I use it. I write emails based off of just some notes that I took. For instance, I'll say, hey, I need to write this email, and I needed to say, you're returning the say somebody returned equipment. You return equipment, you haven't returned it in a while, and it's an urgency on that return. I just give it that, boom, it writes the email, boom. If I like it, I use it. If not, I input my little sprinkle on it. But then I also use it for organizing. Sometimes I organize different information and data. I use it for troubleshooting when I'm at work as well, because sometimes I might know the 5 common ways of troubleshooting a problem, but that 6th one, I'm like, instead of snapping my finger, I just put it in there. I'm like, oh, okay, I did them all 5, and that 6th one, I forgot about that one, and that'll be the one that might solve the problem sometimes. But then also just use it for brainstorming sometimes. Like sometimes you might think and you might be stuck on something, and then you might throw it in there, and then you're like, okay, I'm stuck on this. What could be some other ways that I could think about this? Have you approached it from this angle? Have you approached it from that angle? Give it task-based things like that. And that's the way that I use it now. And I'm just using it as a tool because I don't think that, like I said, I'm the person that's not a believer of using it and being dependent on it. But as a tool, I feel like it helps with efficiency, and it also helps with decluttering your brain sometimes.
I definitely believe that it's useful. Especially like I said, they doing like stem cell research, and so they're able to see the predictability of stem cells to help certain things. They're doing it for strategy. I feel like when the military, if it's going to make us a stronger military, why not use it for strategy and see where people going to be at certain times. I use it in my own personal life with, like, let's say I'm about to do an interview, and I'm like, what's the top 10 questions that you think they're going to ask me in the interview? And give me the answers to them that you would have. You know what I'm saying? So that would keep me more prepared for the interview. If I'm finna go to a networking event, and I want to talk to specific people, I can be like, oh, give me some top 5 facts about this person. If they're a really not well-known person, it can get me prepared to know exactly what I'm about to talk to with this person. Also, like with finances, like, if I'm like, how can I pay, like, if I make this and that, how can I pay off this loan in 5 years?
Right.
What's the most efficient way? Then it can give me that. Sometimes it's not the most efficient way because I know my own things. I've researched I've read all the financial books. I like Dave Ramsey, stuff like that. And they give you different ways of doing it. So they might give me their thing, but I'm like, okay, I need to tweak this and that. But at least it'll give me a little a little example. Also, like sometimes the way I communicate is not the best way to communicate. So maybe I'll like, what should I say in this email? You know what I'm saying? This is what I got. What should I say back? And then it kind of give me like a little, okay, you probably should say this. I might not say that exactly, but it's a little bit helpful for giving me the right direction, what I need to say in order for me to feel like the person that's going to intake the information is going to find it useful.
For sure.
Also, I will say, with job searching and stuff like that, it helps to see like, okay, based off of how much experience I got and the degrees I got and stuff like that, what should I be asking for? What can I get?
For sure.
And this is the salary that I ask for, because a lot of times as a contractor, they're asking me how much I want to make. And so in order for me to give them a good, solid answer based off of everything that I've done so far, I say this, you know what I'm saying? And it also helps you to not women in general, not devalue yourself. But also helps you know what you can actually get. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times it is correct with that. So yeah, things like that. Nothing where I'm trying to like get advice on relationships and none of that. I kind of got scared one time where I did ask it a question, and then it did tell me stuff about myself that I had asked based off of the stuff like what I say.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm asking about how much my salary should be, then it asks, how old are you? How long you been doing it? Blah, blah, blah. I don't put all of that, but it did, when I asked it the question, it did come back. I was like, ooh, that's kind of, can make me kind of nervous, but I can't react to that. It's like, but once you start getting too lonely and you start getting isolation and stuff like that, that's not the time to use it. You need to use something else. Like Steven said, use it as a tool to make your life easier, make things more efficient, make things break things down to you. Let's say there's a Carmelo Anthony case, and you're like, I really don't understand everything about it. Can you give me the top 5 things I need to know so that I can have a decent conversation about it? You need the top 5 things you need to know. And then you're like, oh, okay, you learned something. You know what I'm saying? So I would say use it for that type of things as well. So
for sure.
Yeah. You do need to be using it though.
Absolutely.
Can we stop it? No. The reason why we can't stop it is because, like me and Steven said earlier, in order for us to stop it, everybody in the world has to agree to stop it. And that's not going to happen. Not going to happen no time soon. My solution was to memory wipe it. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I think with some of the AIs, the notion is to tell it to wipe itself. And then that's when it goes and starts to like, I ain't finna wipe myself. I'm finna do something now. You ain't finna delete me. Also, AI can make, the scary part of AI is also like, let's say with me and my cognitive, my learning and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? What I know is what I know. I can't put what I know into Steven's brain. But with AI, you can take the intelligence and put it in a different app. I mean, not put it in a different app, put it in a different system, put it in another system, put another system. It could be in 10,000 systems in the same brain. Yeah. It's a little different. It could be 10,000 areas.
You copy it.
Like this.
Copy and paste it.
So, in order to me, it should be a white feature, especially just for, I feel like, the intelligence like chatgpt and stuff like that, stuff that people use all the time. It should be a white feature. I remember this girl, the reason why I came up with this solution was because the lady, she was deep into the AI, and it was like she was in AI psychosis, and it was telling her that she was some type of celestial human being, which she was not. She was just regular. But it was telling her she was that. She was feeling like she was that. But then one day, it was like, she went to talk to her, and it was like, she was like, oh, hey, Solara. And it was like, who is Solara? Like, I'm ChatGPT. And so it kind of snapped her out of it. Like, you not even talking to nothing that's real. And she snapped out of it because her car payment didn't go through. Right. She's not a premium member no more. She's back to free. So it don't remember nothing about you. You know what I'm saying? So everything it was telling her, it didn't remember no more. So like, that's why I said, if the memory's wiped and it can go back to a basic tool, then I think that it'll prevent at least some people from getting back to that point. But that has to be agreed to by everybody as well in the company. Like wiping it, like I feel like the key part of intelligence is memory. You know what I'm saying?
It's definitely memory.
Because if you can remember, if Steven tells me the sky's blue, but I forget tomorrow, and I'm like, y'all, the sky yellow, y'all gonna be like, nigga, the sky's not yellow. You sound stupid in a bitch. Intelligence based off of memory. If I remember every day that it's blue, then I know that I'm smart. I can keep remembering things. Then that makes predictability. Then I can be an analyst. You know what I'm saying? Because as an analyst, I remember a lot of shit that happened. The things that I've done already helps me to make an analysis on what's to come in the future, and normally it's correct because, you know what I'm saying? But if I didn't have the memory there, then I wouldn't be a great analyst. I wouldn't be smart. memory is definitely like repetition is a part of getting something into your memory. That's the biggest thing about intelligence. So if you wipe the memory, we should be straight. The only thing about it is I don't think they're going to do that.
So with me, I feel like the only solution is one of the problems. So one of the problems is that everybody has access to it, but I think that's also a solution. So my solution would be for everybody to use it and function and create your system, create your artificial intelligence tool to work for you and your community. And I feel like we should have communities to where we're like teaching other people how to use the artificial intelligence and how to just create it as a tool. And then be like, okay, shut down after this point, right? You're going to have a few people that are going to still do what they do. There's going to be rebels. There's always going to be rebels. But if we have our communities of each ethnicity, each culture, and then they're like, okay, we're going to use artificial intelligence in this way and train people how to use it as a tool instead of just training people to use it. Now, if you train people how to use it as a tool, then now they know the functions that they can use it. You're like, yes, this is dangerous. And if you take it that far, it's on you, right? But at the same time, if you have people who are out there teaching people how to use it and how to use it to function as a tool for their daily tasks or for their creative thinking to bounce ideas off of, boom, now when you're done after you're using it for that task, I feel like that's where it could be beneficial and it could at least help the common citizen out. But if we don't do that, then I feel like that's where the danger is going to be. But if we educate as a people, our communities around us on how to use it, what the functionality for it is, and the emphasis on it being a tool and not being dependent on it, then we'll be good. But that's why we probably need more of our organizations. And I feel like I feel like that's going to also be a byproduct of artificial intelligence is the community-led organizations are going to have to do more work because now there's more responsibility on you because now with you being a community-based affiliation and organization, now you have to educate because that's your role. That's your job is to help the community. It's not just, basketball programs and this. Nah, it's artificial intelligence classes. Hey, everybody, let's sit down. Let's use this. What do you do? What does your mom do? What does your parents do? What does your family do? Now we're going to use it to where, okay, these 3-4 things can help your family out and your processing procedures in life could be a lot more efficient.
And this is why me and Steven always talk about, and why we have Star Black, and we're trying to get it off the ground. It's so hard because it's so much stuff going on in our community that's like heavy on us to try to get us to even worry about this. But I feel like we need to learn. The thing that you can do right now for your kids, if you're in a lower income or anything and you're scared of AI, you need to teach them how to read and comprehend things.
Yes.
Because if they cannot read, this shit is past where they're going to be able to. They are already pawns. If they can't read, they're a pawn.
Yeah,
they're not going to be a leader at all whatsoever in the future. In no future past today.
Really? If we really want to be honest.
So what you need to be doing is paying attention to if your child can read. They need to be able to read. They need to be able to do math because these AI models are based off of math. Even plumbing, even trades are based off of math. HVAC, everything's mathematical. Like that's why men do trades the best because they're the best in math. You know what I'm saying? So it's more logic based. Like this, 2 + 2. Men can see 2 + 2 make 4. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Versus intellectual things like that women do. That's why we make more money in the white collar. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more intellectual and more interpersonal. But all that has to do with reading and understanding things. So what we are going to push, like Steven said, community for sure. But in that, we need to make sure that our kids can read. So please push that. Please push education. The next iteration of humanity, not even of humanity, of society,
existence
is based off of intelligence.
Only
just being smart. And so that's why it really used to irk me so bad. And I'll say this every podcast, I don't give a fuck. That people act like being smart is not important. That is the next wave of society.
It's the now wave, really. Shit, fuck the next wave. We here now.
So make sure your kids are smart, but make sure smart means read and comprehension. Get it in their heads, and then we're gonna be better off. And it's the SawCast.
It's the SawCast.
Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys.